Just a quick heads up as to why I've been MIA, missing in action, for most of September. As you may still be able to hear from my voice, I've had COVID for a week. I recovered. Then, just as I thought I dodged a bullet, caught a chest infection which severely limited my breathing capability and my ability to talk. At one point I was in such rough shape I honestly didn't care if I woke the next morning, and I lost a shite load of weight too, and now my clothes simply hang off me. I'm already a pretty slender guy, so now I have to bulk back up with a high protein diet, and I'm doing some bench pressing because I don't do skinny. I still have remnants of symptoms, but I'm happy to say the worst is over and I can create content once again. And what a ton of news I've missed over the past few weeks. Now, a lot of the following news items have come and gone, but is still in a way relative to some more recent news, so I can offer my thoughts, opinions where applicable. So what did I miss? Well, Jim Ryan retiring from PlayStation, Xbox practically at the Activision merger finish line if it weren't for the FTC and their relentless attempt to kill the deal. Rumours of a Grand Theft Auto 6 debut announced trailer could be happening later this month. The Nintendo Switch 2 quote-unquote leaks and the Xbox hardware and content roadmap. But for this video, the focus is Jim Ryan right after this. Welcome back to another Foxy Games UK news video. If you like the work I do here, go ahead, like, subscribe, hit notification, follow Foxy Games UK via Twitter or X, and Foxy Games _UK for more informative gaming news, rumor, opinion, and gameplay. All applicable links are available in this video's description. So for our first news item, Jim Ryan, courtesy of Bloomberg.com. The headline reads, "Why PlayStation fans are cheering the CEO's departure." As you may know by now, Jim Ryan is retiring from his CEO president of PlayStation position in March 2024. Jim Ryan oversaw the successful launch of the PlayStation 5. His 4-year tenure was also marred by severe flubs. Now, the truth is, most video game enthusiasts don't normally care too much about the executive shuffling, but news this week of the retirement of Jim Ryan, boss of Sony's PlayStation, evoked an odd reaction from gamers who were cheering. So when the news broke, Jason Schreier at the helm of the departure, it was mildly surprising to see a barrage of celebratory gifs and memes from PlayStation fans declaring that they were thrilled to see the back of Jim Ryan. After all, he did oversee the successful launch of PlayStation 5 and the release of hit games such as God of War Ragnarok and Horizon Forbidden West. So why do PlayStation fans want to see him go? Well, perhaps it's because Jim Ryan was not relatable. You have the likes of Xbox boss Phil Spencer engaging with fans constantly online and online video games, because yes, Phil Spencer actually plays video games, whereas Jim Ryan just takes photo ops holding a controller in a way that a non-video gamer would hold the controller. So I guess the fans didn't resonate with Jim Ryan because he seemed like just a stuffy businessman who made some incredible decisions for Sony but couldn't relate to the actual gamers. So the communication mistakes aside, Ryan's 4-year tenure as a boss of PlayStation had pretty mixed results. The PlayStation 5 had sold more than 40 million units, more than double the rival Xbox. If not quite as a rapid clip as the previous PlayStation 4, the console was hampered for years due to COVID-related supply issues that have now mostly abated. It has seen a handful of well-received exclusives such as Demon's Souls and Final Fantasy 16. Although it still doesn't even feel like the next generation of PlayStation video games has really started, despite the fact that we're 3 years in. The console is undoubtedly a success. But over the last 2 years, Ryan has overseen a PlayStation shift towards games as a service, a popular industry buzzword referring to video games, usually multiplayer, that can be monetized over long periods of time. It's been an uncomfortable pivot for some of Sony's studios, which have spent the last decade building out teams of experienced developers to make big cinematic adventure games that are played solo. Those solo player blockbusters are still in the works, and one, Spider-Man 2, will come to PlayStation 5 this month. But Sony's stable of game studios such as Naughty Dog, The Last of Us, Insomniac, Spider-Man, Guerrilla Games, Horizon have also been working on multiplayer service games with mixed levels of success. Most have not been revealed yet, some have been cancelled or overhauled, such as an online game based on The Last of Us called Factions, which we've heard very little about, yet they continue to have an annual The Last of Us Day just showing artwork. Now, the game development teams that spent years working together tend to cultivate a certain style, often making a drastic pivot from a familiar genre to something brand new that can have disastrous results. We've all seen it. Just ask developers of Anthem. Games as a service are particularly difficult to create and become successful, asks Cliffy B, as they require a formula that gets gamers to consistently play over long periods of time and hold their attention, which is very difficult when there's so many games releasing. Early last year, Ryan was at the helm of the Sony acquisition of Destiny maker Bungie, one of the top service game developers in the world, in hopes of accelerating this pivot. But it took Bungie decades to develop the team's technology and production pipelines that have made Destiny successful. Even so, they had some serious growing pains along the way. Even Bungie's expertise has not yet been able to turn PlayStation Studios into a service game factory. Now, a few years ago, service games were the hottest thing in the industry, but now, even the sensational Fortnite isn't making as much money as it once did. This bet on multiplayer games may not pay off the way Jim Ryan and his team had once hoped. And the convenient thing for Ryan is, if it all falls apart, he no longer works there and he will walk away blameless. Now, with Ryan on his way out, there are a lot of questions to ask about the strategic future of PlayStation. Some insiders are worried about the company's lack of coherent vision, which its seemingly misplaced bets on service games, niche VR headsets, and a baffling machine called the PlayStation Portal, as long as those earbuds that nobody gives a damn about, that allows people to play PS5 games on the go on this Portal thing with those earbuds, but only streaming them from your home PS5 via a Wi-Fi connection. It's not yet clear who will succeed Ryan, but whoever it is, they will have a tough task on their hands, and that's before trying to avoid the ire of video game fans. So what's even worse is, let's be honest here, come on. Jim Ryan is a very successful executive for Sony. He is successful for Sony and was obviously a great benefit to Sony. But I don't like the games as a service direction Sony's moving towards. Sure, tons of money to be made in a successful IP, but there's so many abject failures that litter this business model. And with approximately 10 to 15 games as a service title in development over the span of PS5's life cycle, I'm concerned we'll see fewer first-party AAA single-player releases. And Jim Ryan, he did much for Sony over the past 30 years, but in reality, all Jim Ryan did for me personally was to raise prices and release less PlayStation games than his predecessors. Now, Hiroki Totoki will be running things at PlayStation post Jim Ryan, though it is more of a stand-in role until a replacement is found. But here's the thing. Yes, the UK, the US, the EU are prominent regions, but in my humble opinion, PlayStation became too westernized under Jim Ryan. I'm happy to see a Japanese professional back at the helm, and I hope the permanent post is given to the best person for the job from Japan. I'd love to see it. But sound off in the comments, what do you think about Jim Ryan going? For or against? I mean, you're going to say Jim Ryan did a lot for Sony and PlayStation, but what did Jim Ryan do for you that other predecessors hadn't done? I mean, Jim Ryan just put prices up left, right and center. The whole industry now makes $70 retail games, and Jim Ryan was the one who kicked it off. I've never been a fan of Jim Ryan. I'm keeping the same energy. If you look at my past videos, I've always said the man has no charisma. He doesn't know how to communicate with the player base, with the PlayStation base. The communication at Sony has been completely off since Jim Ryan took tenure. But you know what? That's just this guy's opinion. What say you? Let's continue the discussion cordially in the comments, as that brings us to the end of the video. Just like, subscribe, hit notification bell, comment regularly on videos, and you can help Foxy Games UK reach more gamers, so feel free to share this video. You may also wish to consider supporting Foxy Games UK via Patreon because, well, we're like family now. Link in the description. Well, that concludes our time together today. Until next time, consumers first. Play games, not corporations.